4 is done. Article 35 I need to start. Article 35 I need to start. After Article 35, very important class today is, so I will make sure this complete class is recorded, and you can watch it if you in between get disconnected, because of technical problem we can't do anything, right? Okay. Article 35 will start now. Legislation to give effect to provisions of this parliament. Nothing, notwithstanding anything in this constitution, parliament shall have, and legislation of a state shall not have power to make laws with respect to any of the matters which under clause 3 of an article 16, clause 3 of article 32, article 33, article 34 may be provided for by law made by parliament, for prescribing punishment for those who acts which are declared to be offences under this parts, and parliament shall, as soon as may be affected commencement of this constitution, make laws for prescribing punishment for acts referred to it in subclause 2. What does Article 35 talk about? Article 35 talks, Article 35 says, very simple concept. It gives power to parliament, gives power to parliament. What power it gives to parliament? To make supplementary laws and complementary laws. So that part 3 is enforceable. Part 3 is enforceable. What do you mean by this supplementary and complementary laws? Supplementary and complementary laws. I had told you in many classes, remember, when I was doing Article 17. Remember when I was doing Article 17? Will Article 17 alone can be strong, or should I add for that Article 17? Should I add for Article 17 untouchability law, atrocities on scheduled caste, Atrocities Act? If I add Atrocities Act for Article 17, then only real meaning for Article 17 will come. Yes. Right? Okay. Now, Article 21. And I told you about right to breathe, right to have good drinking water. So under that, Environmental Protection Act, won't it strengthen right to breathe? Air Pollution Act, Water Pollution Act, and why we are coming out with Water Board, Air Pollution Board, Ambient Air Quality, all these things to protect this. So what our constitution makers knew, what is happening with us is, this is not alone. What is not alone? Constitution articles cannot alone serve the people. It should be backed with supplementary plus complementary laws. So article plus supplementary and complementary laws, what is your proper law for safeguarding your rights. Another example I'll give you. Right to education. Right to education is in Article 21A. Until unless this Article 21A, right to education, is there, if I pass Right to Education Act 2002, then only this Article 21 gets real meaning? Yes. We have RTI, right to information. So once this right to information came out, that's what strengthened Article 19, Clause 1, Clause A. Otherwise, this has no meaning. Right to information gave it more meaning, right? Yes. Understanding how, what does Article 35 talk is? Article 35 says that Parliament has right to make complementary and supplementary laws or legislations to support part 3, to support part 3, and complete authority is given to Parliament by Constitution is giving complete authority to Parliament to make complementary and supplementary laws for part 3. Any doubts on this? Any doubts on this? Clear? B. Any law in the force immediately before the commencement of the Constitution in the territory of India with respect to any matters referred to subclause 1 of clause A, or providing for punishment, or any act referred to the subclause 2 of the clause shall subject to term thereof and to any adoption modification made by under Article 372 continue in force until altered or repealed or amended by Parliament. Okay. Very important concept. I will start. So, Constitution, this is India. So, let's take 1857. India was there before that also. So, let's do like this. Let's till 1947. And after that, now, so let's make it 1950 till now. So India's political order is like this. So here we made many laws. British laws were there. Okay. So what happens? Constitution comes. After Constitution comes, what does Constitution say now is British laws which are existing will continue to serve India. British laws which are existing will continue to serve India until unless Parliament repeal it or modify it. Until unless Parliament repeal it or modify it, this British laws will continue after 1950 also. Clear? That is Article 35, Clause 2 is talking. Any doubts now? We had British laws. British has made many laws. Not only British, we had Hindu laws, Muslim laws, or any law of the land was existing before 1950. Those will continue to exist. They will cease to exist only if Parliament repeal it or Parliament modify it. Clear? So, example is, did we have Dowry Prohibition Act? It came later. But Sati Prohibition Act, it was in 1880s only, right? 1880s only we had come out with Sati Prohibition. That continues even now. Your IPC, CRPC, IPC, CRPC, all these things were existing before also. They're continuing after 1950 also. So which article says this? Article 35, clause 2. Any doubts on this? Article 35, clause 2. Any doubts on this? Let's go further. Let's go further. Let's go further. Now I'll start a new topic. All the articles have been finished. Before entering DPSP, I need to wind up fundamental rights. There are many things in fundamental rights which I need to wind up. Very first thing is doctrines. Doctrines. Write down these things. You won't find it anywhere. Doctrines. Doctrines of fundamental rights. What are doctrines of fundamental rights? We have 3 doctrines of fundamental rights. One is doctrine of equilepsy. Doctrine of eclipse. Second thing, doctrine of wavering. Doctrine of waver. Third thing, doctrine of severability. These 3 doctrines exist. Doctrine of equilepsy, doctrine of wavering, doctrine of severability. Clear? These 3 doctrines are there. I'll explain these 3 doctrines one by one. Then you'll understand things better. So after I explain this, there are 2 more topics about fundamental rights. After that only we can enter DPSP. So let's start. Doctrine of equilepsy. Doctrine of equilepsy. So what happens with this doctrine of eclipse? Point number 1. See what happens. Have you seen solar eclipse? Solar eclipse. So sun will be there. So moon will come in between sun and earth. Moon will come. Moon is very small compared to sun. Even then, moon will become more powerful and make sure this part of the earth won't get sunrise. This part of the earth won't get sunrise. Yes, this is called eclipse. This is called eclipse. Yes. Now I'll be telling you the concept of eclipse. So after this moon has come, this part is dark. That doesn't mean sun doesn't exist, right? Sun exists. Sun is there. But what happens is moon overrides sun. Sun is existing, but moon covers the sun. Yes or no? Moon will cover the sun. Now, same way, what happens is there will be pre-existing laws. What are these pre-existing laws? What are these pre-existing laws? British laws, which were existing before 1950. Are they continuing under Article 35? They will be continuing. They won't go away. But after 1950, new thing happens. What is that? Constitution comes. In this constitution, we have put part 3, that is fundamental rights. Now observe properly. This pre-existing laws are against your fundamental rights. Against your fundamental rights. What would happen is this fundamental rights cover up these existing laws. So this pre-existing laws is like sun. Fundamental right is like moon. Won't moon overshadow the pre-existing laws? Yes. They won't erase the pre-existing laws. Pre-existing laws won't be erased, but they become invisible in front of fundamental rights. Clear? Clear? Pre-constitutional laws are not destroyed. but they are eclipsed by part 3. They're not destroyed but eclipsed by part 3. What is doctrine of eclipse? Pre-existing laws are not destroyed but they are eclipsed. Okay, now why this concept is told? Because what happens now, let's do like this. Jamindari system is there. Jamindari system. So under Jamindari system, they had given names to Dupedar, Sardar, or Raj Bahadur, Raja something, Raja Rajendra, Sri Raja, Sri Purusha. So all these are titles, right? Titles, they had titles. Okay. Now what happened? Article 18 comes, and these titles are abolished. Yes or no? Article 18 comes and these titles are abolished. But after some time, Government of India realizes Article 18 is not so useful. Titles actually encourage people to work better. So what they did is they squashed Article 18. Now automatically this Jamindari system, which was eclipsed all these days, which was overshadowed, now it starts appearing. Because of Article 18. It was eclipsed. Once Article 18 goes away, it starts appearing it. Yes or no? Yes. Understood what is doctrine of eclipsy? Pre-existing laws are there, but your fundamental rights eclipse them. What happens when your fundamental rights are taken away or modified? They are visible again. Yes or no? This is called doctrine of eclipsy. Any doubts on doctrine of eclipsy? You can ask me now only. You won't find it anywhere, and it is tough to understand also without examples. Any doubts are there? Please ask me right now before I go to next one. Repeat it. Okay. Now, did I tell you that how sun is existing, moon will eclipse it and make earth dark, right? Moon will eclipse it and make earth dark. Same way, pre-existing laws of British are there. They will be there. Fundamental rights which are started today on 1950 January 26th, if any of these things, pre-existing laws are inconsistent with fundamental right, they won't go away. They will stay. But fundamental rights overshadows it or eclipse it. Fundamental rights will eclipse them. Example, we had, this is an imaginary law. That's simple imaginary law. Untouchability. There is a law for untouchability, and they declare that A, B, C people are untouchable because they do some work. Let's think there is a law like this. There is no such law. Let's just think. But 1950 January 26th, Article 17 comes into picture. Yes or no? Now, Article 17 comes into picture. As soon as Article 17 comes, will this law vanish? No, it won't vanish. It will exist. But Article 17 eclipses it. It is not visible because Article 17 is superior and eclipses it. But after some time, let's do like this. Now during COVID-19, we realized, yes, Article 17 is violation of rights under COVID-19. You're not supposed to touch few people who are suffering with COVID-19. So I should take away Article 17. If COVID-19 will continue, Article 17 will be taken away. Okay, they took away. That means all these days, this was in the shadow. Moon was covering, Article 17 was covering untouchability. Now, Parliament removed Article 17. This will be visible and this will become law automatically. So it was shadowed all these days. Once you remove Article 17, that starts becoming law. Clear? Clear? Now you understood what is doctrine of epilepsy? There were pre-existing laws. There were pre-existing laws of constitution. After fundamental rights came, fundamental rights eclipsed so many laws. That doesn't mean that these laws are repealed, taken away, squashed, nothing. They were existing. Fundamental rights are eclipsing them. Later what happens is, if at all there is a modification on fundamental rights, these laws start appearing later. Exactly how sun disappears during eclipse, but once the moon moves away, they will reappear. Same way, fundamental rights come in, make sure sun is not visible. Once fundamental rights goes away, sun will be always visible. Understood? Clear? Understood doctrine of eclipse? Let's go for next one. Next one. Doctrine of waiver. Doctrine of waiver. What is this doctrine of waiver? Part 3. Okay. Rights are there. Do I have Article 17? Article 19, do I have right to speech? Speech and expression. Okay. Rights, I have it, but I can never give up on my rights. I don't have right to give up my fundamental rights. Understood? I don't have right to give up fundamental rights. I can't give up my fundamental rights. I can't give up my fundamental rights. No citizen, no person in this country can give up their fundamental rights. That is doctrine of waiver. Why you can't give up your fundamental rights? Because observe it in other angle. Your fundamental rights aren't the obligations on state. Your fundamental rights are obligations on the state. The moment you give up fundamental rights, obligation on the state, burden on the state reduces. Obligation on the state reduces. Obligation reduces. Yes. That's what Constitution also says. You are given rights. By giving you rights, I have put obligations on the state. Obligations on the state. That time, Supreme Court said, who the hell are you to reduce the obligations of the state? By giving up fundamental rights, you're reducing obligation. Supreme Court says, who are you to reduce the obligations on the state? Only Constitution has the right. No citizen, no person has right to reduce the obligations of the state. So when you have no right to reduce the obligation of the state, how will you have right to give up on the fundamental rights? You don't have right to give up on the fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are given to you and you're supposed to take it. You can't give it back. You can't waive your fundamental rights, give up on your fundamental rights. The moment you give up on the fundamental rights, it implies what? The obligation on the state is reduced. Obligation on the state is reduced. This is a wrong message. Understood doctrine of waiver? Understood doctrine of waiver? Clear? What is doctrine of waiver means? No citizen or a person has right to give up their fundamental rights. They can't give up their fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are part of them. They can't give up. Because if they give up their fundamental rights, it shows that they are reducing the obligation of the state. Can I do it? Give you an example now? Can I give you an example? Okay. Now Article 19 is there. Article 19, Clause 1, Clause A. Speech and expression. Speech and expression. Okay. And Article 25 is there. Right to religious practices. Right to religious practices. Now, citizens come in between. Speech and expression is there. Right to religious practices are there. Now, citizens come in between and they tell that, so we don't want, because they love Modi. And yesterday they were so overwhelmed that August 5th, Ram Janma Bhoomi or Ram Temple will be built. So they were so overwhelmed with Modi and BJP and ruling party. They come directly, all the citizens come together and tell that, sir, we don't want right to speech. We don't want right to religious because we believe in you. You can give us or not give us right to speech. It's okay. Can people give up like this? They can't. They can't give up their fundamental rights. This can happen. Now, what would happen is, now majority people are there. If people come, all the people together come and tell, sir, we don't want right to religious practices. Please abolish. Can the parliament abolish it? No. We can't abolish. Because who are the people? People don't have right to give up their rights. Right to give up their rights. If it was like that, won't we misuse it? Now, some Muslims will come, or some Hindus will come, or some Christians will come in front and say, sir, we don't want this right, take it away. For that, if constitution takes away that, or if parliament takes away that right, won't it hamper others? If people come in front and tell that we don't want right to speech and expression, we want to oblige with the government, they love the government so much, they'll be so blinded. So that time, won't it hurt others who want it? So that means right to speech of expression or any right in that matter, you can never give up on your rights. Rights are essential part of you. You can't give up them. One, why you can't give up your rights? Reason number one, because rights means obligations. Obligation on state. And who has put this obligation on state? Constitution has put this obligation on state. When Constitution has put obligation on the state, who is a person, who is a citizen to reduce that obligations? We can't reduce it. By giving up fundamental rights, what happens is, I'll be reducing their obligations, right? So what I do, this is the reason why I'm not supposed to give up on fundamental rights. Clear? This is called doctrine of waiver. Doctrine of waiver. Any doubts on this? Doctrine of waiver is understood. You can't give up your fundamental rights. Clear? Doctrine of waiver understood. Let me go for the next doctrine. Let me go for the next doctrine. Obligation. Fundamental rights for a citizen means state has obligation. Okay, what do you mean by this? So if state is giving you rights means, from first class I'm telling, if state is giving you rights means it is putting obligation over itself. Because to give you rights, state needs to constrain itself. State needs to create infrastructure. Yes or no? To give you rights, won't state need to put constraint on themselves? State needs to put infrastructure. State needs to give many things to you to give you some rights. So isn't fundamental rights means obligation for the state? Yes or no? Fundamental rights means obligations for the states. Clear? Let's go further. Next, doctrine of severability. Doctrine of severability. What is this doctrine of severability? So go to Article 13, Clause 2. Go to Article 13, Clause 2. What is Article 13, Clause 2? State shall not make any law which takes away or abridges the rights confirmed by the part, and any law made in contravention of this clause shall, to be the extent contravention, be void. Okay. What is the meaning? Doctrine of severability is a very important concept. Okay. There is an law which government made. They made a law. Law had 4 parts. This law had part A, part B, part C, part D, and part E. Together is a law. Together is a law. Clear? Together is a law. A plus B plus C. Or I'll give you later, I'll give you example also. Now, let's see like this. C part of the law, C part of the law violates fundamental rights. C part of the law violates fundamental rights. Clear? C part of the law violates fundamental rights. Now, doctrine of severability says that this law should make sure that they delete C. The law A, B, C, D, E together is a law. If C is violating fundamental rights, they should delete this law. And these will continue to exist. A, B, D, E will continue to exist if they delete C. If they don't delete C, full law will become null and void. Understood? Understood? Clear? So I will tell it in other words. State cannot make any laws violating fundamental rights. If State made a law. 99% of the law, 99% of the law is wonderful. Is wonderful. Only 1% of the law is violating. I will finish it. 1% of the law is violating fundamental rights. Okay, 1%. So state now supposed to struck down this 1% of the law, separate it or struck it down. If not separated, full law will be squashed. Full law be squashed. Yes or no? Yes, this is called doctrine of severability. Okay, only this law, if it is separated and squashed, this will continue to exist. If you don't separate this, this will also stop working. See, Dakshin, did we have Article 19 Clause 2? Article 19 Clause 2. Can we have a law which is violating fundamental rights with reasonable restrictions? Yes or no? Now you understood. There will be laws which violate fundamental rights, but those laws are with reasonable restrictions. Fundamental rights are not absolute. Clear? Okay. Understood doctrine of severability, or I'll give you example now. One more example I'll give you, you'll understand. Constitutional Amendment Bill. It is Act now, CAA. It is Act. So complete CAA, there are many parts in CAA. First part, so registration for the people who are from Afghanistan, who are from Pakistan, or who are from Bangladesh. So he tells minorities. He tells many parts are there in this law. Clear? Now, few people put a case in Supreme Court on this minority part. The minorities which you are mentioning, it is violation of Article 14. Is a violation of Article 14. Clear? But Supreme Court couldn't prove it. We couldn't prove it in Supreme Court that it's a violation of Article 14. Leave that. If at all it is proved, now Supreme Court has right only to struck this down. Supreme Court can struck this down. Not complete CAA. Or Supreme Court can give guidelines or directions for the Parliament, telling that under you there is this law about minority, part of your law which is talking about minority. It violates Article 14. You take it down, struck it up, take it down. If you don't take it down, what would happen is I would have to cancel CAA completely. Now, Parliament, what it will do? It will take minority clause. CAA will continue. Yes or no? CAA will continue. This is called doctrine of severability. If Parliament doesn't accept for this, whole law can be struck down. Clear? Normally, whole law won't be struck down. Only that part which is violating fundamental rights will be struck down. Supreme Court has right to struck down only that law which is violating fundamental law, not full law. This is called doctrine of severability. Dakshin, don't get confused. This I told hypothetical case now to give you example. It was an hypothetical case which I give you example. If they do it, whatever I told in previous class is true. That's reality. This example, this is just an example. Don't get confused. Clear? Okay. Clear till here? So we have three things. One is doctrine of eclipse, doctrine of waiver, doctrine of severability. Understood all the three things? Understood all the three things? Let's go further. Let's go further. If you understood, I'll go for further. Next topic is suspension of fundamental rights. Suspension of fundamental rights. Remember, I keep telling, fundamental rights are not absolute. Why they are not absolute? Because reasonable restrictions are there. Reasonable restrictions are there. Reasonable restrictions are there. So that's why fundamental rights are not absolute. So for that, I am adding up new thing. Fundamental rights are not absolute. They can be struck down. Struck down. They can be suspended, not struck down. Struck down is the different word. Suspended. Fundamental rights can be suspended. Clear? But fundamental rights can be suspended only according to Article 358. Go to Article 358. According to Article 358. Go to Article 358. Okay. Suspension of provisions of Article 19 during emergency. Okay. While proclamation of emergency declaring that security of India or any part of the territory thereof is threatened by war or by external aggression, it is inoperational. Nothing in Article 19 shall restrict the power of state to define in Part 3 to make any law or take away, execute action which is the state would but provision contains in the Part B content to make or to take, but any law made shall to extent of incompetency cease to have effect as soon as proclamation cease to operate, except as respect things done or omitted to be done before the law so cease to have further effects. Is in operation only in part or territory of India. Any such law may be made or any such executive actions may be taken under this article in relation to or in the state or the union territory in which in any part of the proclamation of emergency is not operation, if it is so far as security of India or any part of the territory thereof threatened by the activities in or in relation with the part of territory in India. So first I'll explain Article 358. 358. Article 358 is very important article. It says that the moment Article 352 is about national emergency. National emergency. That is on war. If there is a war in India, who proclaims national emergency? President. President proclaims national emergency. So the moment there is a war, national emergency will be proclaimed by president. So as soon as Article 352 comes into picture, national emergency comes into picture. Under Article 358, Article 19 is not valid. During emergency, we can suspend. It automatically gets suspended. During emergency, Article 19 will automatically be suspended. I'll tell you the reason. There is war happening in Jammu and Kashmir. There is war happening in Himachal Pradesh and Rajasthan part with China and Pakistan. Now, this war will be very crucial for us. Now, there will be few people who want to oppose the ruling government about this war. They would tend to write many things about it. Example, I'll give it. See, what had happened was India was supporting Sri Lanka. India was supporting Sri Lanka for LTTE. That time, Tamil Nadu government, AIDMK, DMK, they opposed central government. They started writing many things, even the Hindu newspaper. They started doing all these things. They opposed Indian government. So what had happened that time? So why they were opposing? Because they felt that there are Tamilians in Sri Lanka. So this terrorist group should not be taken away. What is our problem is, if India doesn't support Sri Lanka, China will do, right? China will do. Yes or no? If India doesn't support, China will support. So Sri Lanka, with the help of China, Sri Lanka will win over LTTE. Then Sri Lanka will become part of China, ally of China. Then China can counter us easily. Dumbness, right? These Tamil Nadu peoples and Tamil Nadu politicians, what they taught that time was they were thinking about their culture. Yes, even others will intervene. So they were thinking about their culture, their language. They had so much affection towards their language that they were compromising the security of India. I want to tell you one simple concept. One of my friend, he's an officer of Tamil Nadu. He didn't clear his interview. He had gone to interview. I don't want to reveal his name. He's from Rameshwaram. People from Rameshwaram, yes, people from Rameshwaram will have more attachment towards Sri Lanka than anybody, because they feel that LTT peoples are their ancestors. They are their people with LTT. But for us, LTT is a non-Indian entity. Why should we even think about it, right? We can't support or do anything. So this guy, they were asking an issue about LTTE. This was in 2013. Prabhakaran, they had killed Prabhakaran, remember? That time, this guy in the interview says very non-diplomatic answer. Sir, about LTT, he says that we are connected to those people. We are connected to those people because my ancestors, one or the other family member, my relatives are part of LTTE down there. Not only me, you can observe half of Tamil Nadu have relationship with this LTTE people. So when Indian government is not supporting LTTE, we feel betrayed. Indian government supporting Sri Lanka, we feel betrayed. This was the answer he was given. He had got 98 in his interview. I don't know how they gave 98 also. This is a very wrong way. For you, India is important, or for you, Tamil Nadu is for you, Tamilian in Sri Lanka is important. For you, Tamilian in India is important. Always remember. Always remember. Maybe he was Tamil Nadu. He's an officer in Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu PCS, not in UPSC. Okay. Jammu and Kashmir, Arunachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Assam, Manipur, Tripura, Mizoram. These are my people, not people in Sri Lanka. Always remember this. These are my people, not in people of Sri Lanka. Same for Jammu Kashmir people also. Same for Jammu Kashmir people also. Pakistan may be near to you. Pakistan, you may be connected to them in an Islamic way. They are not your people. People in Maharashtra, people in Telangana are your people. That is nationality. Now, we had an argument with this Tamil friend of mine. I told him, so you're acting like a militant of an Jammu Kashmir. True, right? The militant of a Jammu Kashmir is related to Pakistan. Is related to Pakistan, and he supports terrorist organizations in Pakistan. Same way, a Tamilian in Rameshwaram supports LTTE. What is the difference between a militant in Jammu Kashmir and a Tamilian in Rameshwaram? Both of them are same for me. If they support LTTE, yes or no? Yes or no? Don't you agree with this? Same goes with Nagaland people also. Same goes with Nagaland people also. Now, they're scared of these people doing something like this during the wartime. During the wartime, they're scared of people like this. They may do something bad to the country. If I go with war with Pakistan, if Jammu Kashmir people do internal problems, won't it be horrible for me? Yes. Yes. So what you are supposed to do is we suspend Article 19. We suspend Article 19 during war. Not only that, people like Barka Datta, they would tend to go to Pakistan, tend to go to war sites. Should I restrict their movement? If I restrict their movement, they're telling freedom of press. Freedom of press. Freedom of press, you're curtailing it. That's why I struck it down Article 19. That's why I struck down Article 19. I didn't understand. It will lead to lack of proper structure, affects society. I didn't understand that. Clear? Clear? So Article 19 should be struck down or not? Article 19 should be struck down or not? Yes. So automatically 352 comes in. Article 19 will be struck down. Clear? Next step. Next step. Yes, internal structure will affect because of people who have emotional feelings for others. True. One. Clear till here. Clear till here. Next, Article 19 will be suspended if Article 352 comes. Article 352 comes. One. Second point is, remember the second point. Article 352 can be part of India or full India. Part of India or full India. So wherever this Article 352, only that part Article 19 will go away. So if Article 352 is only in Tamil Nadu, only in Jammu and Kashmir, only in Nagaland, these three places Article 352 is going on. In these three places Article 352 is going on. What happens now is, remember, rest of India, Article 19 exists. It won't be struck down. Only in these three places, Article 19 will be struck down. Clear? Clear? So this is what is your Article 358 talks about. Article 358 talks about this. Article 358 clause 2. Nothing in clause 1 shall apply to any law which does not contain recital to effect that such law is in relation to proclamation of energy in operation when it is made, or any executive action taken otherwise than under the law containing such a recital. Okay. Emergency is going on. Emergency is going on. Exactly during emergency, I made an law. What is that law? Is Rowlatt Act. You know Rowlatt Act? Okay. I modify this Rowlatt Act. What do I modify this Rowlatt Act? Anybody who talks against India, anybody who conspires against India, anybody who talks against India, anybody who works against India, they will be arrested. Okay. Rowlatt Act is severe than that. I'm just giving you example. Something similar to Rowlatt Act, we made it. Anybody who talks against the government, anybody who criticizes the war, anybody who discusses the war, they will be fined 5,000 rupees and 6 months jail. This is a new law made during emergency. Clear? This is a new law made during emergency. Can we make it? Yes, I can make it. Why? Because Article 19 is not there. So I can make this, yes. But after 4 months, war ends and Article 352, proclamation of energy, is seized. They have taken away the emergency. Emergency is seized. This law which I had made during emergency, this will also vanish. They will also go away. They won't continue. Clear? They won't continue. Because it will violate Article 19, yes or no? Yes. They will also stop continuing it. Clear? Clear? First part. As soon as Article 352 comes in, Article 19 will be automatically suspended. Article 19 will be automatically suspended. Second part, Article 352 is in which part or which region of the state, only that region Article 19 will be suspended. Rest of the India, rest other parts where there is no Article 352 will continue to have Article 19. Clear? Part number 3. If you make any law during emergency which are violating Article 19, they exist only during the period of emergency. As soon as you cease the emergency, this act will not continue. This act will not continue. Clear? Clear. So this is Article 358. Now I'll go for Article 359. Article 359. Understood? Article 358 talks about Article 19. It is automatic. Now I'll talk Article 359. Article 359. Suspension of enforcement of rights confirmed by Part 3 during the emergencies. Where a proclamation of emergency is in operation, President may by order declare the right to move any court for enforcement of such of as of may be mentioned in the order, and all proceedings pending in any court for enforcement of rights so mentioned shall remain suspended for period during which proclamation is in force for such short period as may be specified in the order. 1A. While an order made under Clause 1 mentioning any of the rights confirmed by Part 3 except Article 20 and 21 is in operation, nothing in the part confirming those rights shall restrict the power of state as defined in the said part to make any law or provision, take any executive action state would but for the provisions containing in the part be content to make or to take. But any law so made shall to extent of this incompetency cease to effect as soon as the order aforesaid cease to operate, except as the respects. 1 clause B. To any law which does not contain recital to effect such law is in relation to proclamation of emergency operation is made, or to any executive action taken otherwise shall under the law containing such a recital. Article 359. So what I do is Article 359 and 358, I'll explain it together so you'll understand it better. 358 is understood. Now you'll understand. 358 is for Article 19. 359 is for all other article, all other fundamental rights. Complete part 3, except Article 20 and 21. Everything except 20 and 21. Clear? Clear. Okay. As soon as Article 352 comes, Article 19 automatically goes, automatic suspension. Yes. Here, this suspension is not automatic. President should mention why it is suspended, which all articles, Article 17, Article 16, Article 14, Article 22, Article 25, they should mention. Who should mention? President should mention. These articles will be suspended. He should mention. He should mention Article 32 will be suspended. Such things he should mention. Clear? He should mention that which article he is suspending. Here, should President mention? No, it is automatically suspended, Article 19. To suspend any other article, President should put an order and mention that these articles will be suspended. And he should say the duration of suspension. So he can tell it can be suspended for 3 months. Or he can say it can be suspended until war ends. Or he can say it can be suspended until emergency ends. So he should tell this. Clear? Here, should he tell till when it will be suspended? No. Automatically goes away. Automatically comes back as soon as emergency ceases. This automatically comes back. This automatically won't. Clear? Next. Now emergency is in force. So first 1 month, people never thought importance of president never thought. Okay, I'll finish off. So after 1 month, president comes out and say Article 25 is struck down. Article 25 will be suspended because right now what is happening is I am fighting with Pakistan. I'm fighting with Pakistan. Religious sentiments are affecting Pakistan, affecting my emergency clause. Religious sentiments are affecting me. So, for time being, can I struck down Article 25? Yes. So that people don't have religious sentiments right now. Or if I go for a war with Tibet, which I'll never do, war with Tibet. Tibet has Buddhist. If I go for a war with Tibet, Tibet has Buddhist. So people can go to court telling that under Article 25, we consider Buddhist, His Holiness, as a god. Please don't go for war against Tibet. Can they do that? Yes. But that time, if I suspend Article 25, can they do that? No, they can't go to court. Clear? Clear? And this suspension will be only up to emergency ceases. Once the emergency ceases, this also will go away. Once the emergency ceases, this also will go away. Clear? Understood what is the difference between Article 358 and 359? Difference between Article 358 and 359? Any doubts? So, normally, all the fundamental rights can be suspended under Article 359 with the order of the president during emergency, except Article 20 and 21. Except Article 20 and 21. Clear? 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 Next thing. Okay. This is the final topic which you'll understand it properly. Article 358 and Article 359. Now, Article 358 and Article 359. Go to 352. Go to Article 352. Okay. Under Article 352, if the president is satisfied with the grievance, grave emergency existing whereby the security of India or any part of the territory there be threatened, whether by war, external aggression, or armed rebellion, he may by proclamation make declaration of that effect. So national emergency can be declared for war, external rebellion, and armed rebellion, external aggression. These two almost war only. Both of them are war. So this is for this. Armed rebellion is for Article 359. Now there is a communal rights are happening. Let's give assumption. What had happened yesterday? We have gone for Ayodhya temple in Ayodhya we are building. On that basis, there is a communal rights happening. Communal riots. Communal riots are happening. So let's assume it's not true. Let's assume communal riots are happening. So won't it come against armed rebellion? Won't it come against armed rebellion? Yes, it comes under armed rebellion. Now, when communal riots are happening, should I take care of communal rights or should I give them Article 25? I can't give people Article 25 during communal rights, right? So I need to stuck it down. So I will ask President under 359, take away Article 25. Now I can struck the communal rights. I can make sure people don't go to mosque. I can make sure people don't go to temple. I will close all the mosque. I'll close all the temples. I'll take away your article. Because if they go to mosque and temple, that's where anger will be exaggerated. So I stop them from going there. Can I do this? Yes. Understood? Article 358, Article 19, Article 359, any other article except 20 and 21. Article 19, automatic. Any other article, it's not automatic. See, there is no Article 350. So they took away, Article 370 is taken away. So it is not rights anymore. They didn't take away fund. They had two things. Jammu Kashmir people had two things. They had fundamental rights also. With that, they had Article 370 also. Parliament didn't take away fundamental rights. Their fundamental rights are existing. Only Article 370 is taken away. Clear? Example 371J. So reservation under Article 16 is existing. Article 16 reservation is existing. Extra reservation is Article 371J for Hyderabad, Karnataka. Yes or no? Yes. Now, if it struck down this, it doesn't mean this will go away. This will continue. Understood? So Article 370 was taken away. That doesn't mean Part 3 doesn't come. Part 3 will continue. Clear? Clear? So final part of fundamental rights I'll be entering. Critics on fundamental rights. What does critics have to say about fundamental rights? Critics on fundamental rights. First critic on fundamental right goes like this. They say fundamental rights have excessive limitations. States are having too much limitations because of fundamental rights, and it is excessive limitations. First criticism. Excessive limitation. Write it down. Excessive limitation. Second step. There is lack of clarity. Lack of clarity. What do you mean by lack of clarity? So they have told public interest. Have you seen public interest word? Public interest. They have told public order. Public order. They have told morality. They have told morality. They have told reasonable restrictions. Can you give definition for these things? Can I give you a clear definition for these things? No. So that's why there is no clarity. Parliament can violate fundamental rights. Parliaments can violate fundamental rights under Article 31B easily. Yes or no? Did I say to strengthen Article 31A, 31B is strengthening? So That's a vagueness. Yes or no? That's a vagueness. Fourth one, fundamental rights. Yes, correct action. Fundamental rights are expensive. Expensive. Why expensive? Fundamental rights are expensive and complicated for remedies. Remedies. So, if there is a violation of my fundamental rights, where should I go for the remedies? High Court or Supreme Court? Anybody I go. But going there, is it easy? Is it easy? No, right? It's very tough to go there. So I need to pay for my charges. I need to do many things. So they're not reachable. It's expensive to get your fundamental rights. It is complicated process. I should take a lawyer who is from bar council, so he'll know the law terms. He will understand these things, all these things. So giving it to in the hands of judiciary is, this is the problem. Giving it in the hands of judiciary. Fundamental rights. Government will provide public prosecutor, yes, to prosecute against government itself. Government will provide public prosecutor to prosecute against government itself. Yes. Fundamental rights. You know, Ivory Journey, Ivor Jennings. Ivor Jennings says Indian constitution has become lawyers' paradise. Lawyers' paradise. Yes or no? It is all in the hands of the lawyer. How we interpret? Yes, he's a philosopher of polity and political science. Constitution has become lawyers' paradise. So lawyers control our constitution. The way they interpret, that's how constitution becomes. So now, can I connect expensive and complicated? Expensive lawyer, you have chances of winning. Yes or no? Expensive lawyer means you have chances of winning. For most of the constitutions, he had given comments. Yes. Third. Our constitution has absence, our fundamental rights has absence of consistent philosophy. Consistent philosophy. Consistent philosophy. Example, we don't have consistent philosophy of our own. See, what happens is Article 18, Article 17. Instead of having Article 17 and 18, you should have gone for social reforms. Instead of limiting people from doing these things, you do social reforms. So you don't have a consistent philosophy for your fundamental rights. You don't have a consistent philosophy for your fundamental rights. And finally, Indian Constitution has this, write it down, these words. These words are given by very big people. So I will write it, you also write it. Indian Constitution is disproportionate focus on liberation or as opposed to egalitarianism and socialism. What is this? Disproportionate focus on libertarianism as opposed to egalitarianism and socialism. What is the meaning of this? What happens is, I'll tell liberalism. Indian libertarianism is based on Western philosophy, Western liberalism. Western philosophy. They are not based on Indian philosophy of liberalism. Indian philosophy of liberalism is much more liberal than this one. Second thing, egalitarianism. What does egalitarianism means? All are equal in eyes of law. Third one, socialism, where you can see socialism in DPSP. So what we are supposed to do is, see, we need to give our fundamental rights are supposed to make sure egalitarianism and socialism should prevail for equal society, for a better society. What is happening now is, our constitution is borrowed constitution. From who we borrowed fundamental rights? USA. USA has libertarianism. For them it will work out because they are homogeneous. For us, we can't be homogeneous like them. We are egalitarian society. We should have egalitarianism because we are heterogeneous. We have different castes, different people. We can't give liberalism. Instead, we should treat people equally, and we should give them inequalities, welfare status concept we should give them. Affirmative actions. I should start giving more affirmative actions. I need to treat people unequally through DPSP. But what happens is, because I copied it from USA, I show more liberalism than egalitarianism and socialism. Clear? These are the criticisms on our fundamental rights. Next point about fundamental rights. Significance of fundamental rights. Significance of fundamental rights. So isn't your fundamental rights giving you dignity, liberty? Dignity example, Article 17, 18, liberty. See, what is happening is, what should we do is, we should go for more than this. Ours is more freedom is given. Like USA, I'm not telling we are not like USA. We are following USA method of liberalism. We are following USA method of liberalism, and more liberty is given to the people. Instead, we should go the way China and Russia is there, where people have less liberty and more welfareness. Understood? That was the criticism. See, criticism, people criticize everything. It's not necessary that is the best, or it is not necessary that is wrong. Clear? There are people who criticize Gandhi also. Gandhi and Satyagraha, they criticize. Yes, they're telling Indian liberalism is wrong. They're telling Indian liberalism is wrong. We are following liberalism the way USA does. For India, it doesn't suit. For India, liberalism should be in the form of egalitarian. Egalitarianism is important. Next one is socialism is important, because inequalities are more. There is gender inequality, caste inequality, regional inequality. So welfare state concept is supposed to give. If you give everything for liberalize everything, powerful people will become more powerful, weak people will become more weak. Inequalities will arise. That's why our fundamental rights should not give so much liberalism. It should give little socialism and egalitarian concept also. Understood? Okay. Now, dignity, significance. Why it is significant? It gives you dignity. It gives you liberty. It gives you liberty. It gives you respect. How it gives you respect? It doesn't discriminate me and Manmohan Singh. It doesn't discriminate me and Modi. I am also same. Modi is also same for my constitution. There is no discrimination. If I do murder also, I'll be arrested. If Modi does a murder, he'll be arrested. Both of them have committed the crime. So by doing like this, am I getting respect? Dignity, liberty to the individual. So why it is significant? Fundamental rights, they give dignity. They don't have privileges. For murder case, respect to the individuals. Second one, promotes social, only president, right? Only one person in this country. Promotes social, but that person also can be impeached. Social justice. Promotes social justice. Article 15, Article 16, Article 17, Article 18. Social justice. Promote social justice. It gives weapon in the hands of the people. Weapon in the hands of the people to check government. To check government. To have check government or state. Yes or no? Article 19, Clause 1, Clause A. My right to speech and expression isn't a weapon to check the government? Yes. It establishes rule of law. Rule of law. Yes, Article 32 also. It establishes rule of law. What do you mean by rule of law? Law is important. Law is above lawmaker also, normal citizen also. For law, lawmaker is also same, citizen is also same. So it establishes rule of law. My fundamental rights establishes rule of law. It gives us democratic polity. It gives democratic polity. What is democratic polity? Freedom, Article 19 to 22. Political freedom. Political freedom. Can I participate in political talks? Can I criticize government? Under Article 19 to 22, political freedom is given. Civil liberties are given. Civil liberties. Civil liberties. Article Part 3 gives us, it helps individual for moral progress, moral progress plus material progress, moral and material progress. So we get moral progress and material progress. These are significance of our fundamental rights. I didn't understand the action. This we understood. So final part is rights outside part 3, right? Outside part 3. Part 3, rights outside part 3. Yeah, DPSP will complement this. That's what you'll understand tomorrow. Outside, rights outside part 3 now. Rights outside part 3, but inside constitution. Inside constitution. Article 300A. Your right to property, which was there in Article 19, will go to 300A. Then Article 326, right to vote. Right to vote. Article 265. No taxation, no taxation, no taxation without representation. What do you mean by no taxation without representation? So who can impose tax on us? Parliament can impose tax on us. So Parliament, so no other authority has right to impose tax on us. Only Parliament can impose. Yes or no? Yes. Understood? Parliament, once it passes, then only taxes can be imposed. Otherwise, we can't impose, president can't impose tax on me. Somebody else can't impose tax on me. Only Parliament can impose tax on me. There is no taxation without representation. Final one. Article 301. Not by any other, only Parliament has it. Because why Parliament has it? Parliament are my representatives, right? Parliament are my representatives. So no taxation without representation means only Parliament can do it. Article 301. Article 301. Freedom of commerce. Freedom of commerce. Freedom of commerce. So I can trade internationally. I can do business internationally anywhere. So this is Article 301. So Article 300, 326, 265, Yes. And Article 301. Clear, freedom of commerce. So rights outside part 3 but inside. So this is your fundamental rights. Finally, after like easily 20 classes on fundamental rights, after 20 classes of fundamental rights, we finished. That means your fundamental rights are the crucial part. Nobody should miss a question on fundamental right anymore in any exam. Yes or no? Yes or no? So fundamental rights are clear. So 20 classes, nobody would do so much. You have enough knowledge about fundamental rights. Okay.